Hey, what's up, comic fans? Mr. Q Comics back with some more show and tell. All right, today I've got a great stack of books to show off. These are all from one haul at the same shop. I picked up towards the end of January. I was traveling for work. I'm on the road traveling quite a bit, and I was in central New York and hit up a shop that I go to pretty often and was able to get a great stack of books. Was not a cheap haul by any means, but there were some great books in there that I could not leave behind. So before we dive into the books, guys, do me a favor. Please go down below, hit the like button, hit subscribe, and leave me some comments. Let me know what you think about these books. All right, so I've got a little bit of a mixed bag. We've got some modern stuff, some variants, some Bronze Age, and some really nice keys. So we will dive in with nothing huge here, but some just some cool cover art. This is Marvel Zombies versus the Army of Darkness. He had the whole set, 1 through 5. These are just very cool covers, homage covers from Arthur Sidam. Sidam? I think that's how you say the name. Sidam, I believe. So this is, number 1 is an homage to X-Men 141. Number 2 is an homage to that classic Jim Lee cover on X-Men. I think it's 248? 268. I think it's 268. Super cool there. This one I had to look up. I'm like, what is... I recognized it, but it took me a bit, and I did actually have to look it up. So number 3 is an homage to the, what do you call it? The oversized books there, the Superman vs. Spider-Man, the Treasury Edition size book. So I don't know. You got the bridge in the background. It's kind of, to me, the weakest of the bunch, but still very cool artwork. I think Arthur Sidam does some amazing work. We got number 4 is an homage to Captain America 100. And finally, this one's probably my favorite. Number 5 is the homage to Frank Miller's Wolverine number 1. I just love it because he's got the eyeball hanging out of his mouth. So I thought those were super cool. Not super pricey. I think, you know, in near mint condition, this set, people are probably paying around 40, 50 bucks on eBay. But these are cheap. These are the types of books at the shop, the modern stuff like this. He sells dirt cheap. So I think it worked out to like $1.50 or something each. So I was super happy with those. Next, we got just a cool Bronze Age cover. This is Werewolf by Night, number 12. This is not a key, but it is a John Romita cover, 1973. I think it's Gil Kane on the interiors, I think. This book, I was surprised when I looked it up. This thing goes pretty expensive in high grade. This is a mid-grade copy, but man, I saw some books selling for like 70 bucks for people advertising raw books in the near mint range. So I don't know if those are accurate sales or not, but it's a cool cover. I mean, it's got the reflection of the werewolf in the rear view mirror there. Some of this Bronze Age horror stuff from Marvel still continues to amaze me with the price points. The Ghost Rider stuff, the Tomb of Dracula, Werewolf by Night, Frankenstein even. That stuff has shot up over the past few years, and it's still pricey. I'm surprised. When I first got back into collecting, this stuff was not pricey at all, but man, it stays up there. I think maybe in a lot of cases, some of these covers just are kind of affordable compared to, say, Golden Age horror, you know, the pre-code stuff, and maybe it's kind of reminiscent of some of that. So I don't know if that's part of it. I don't think it's all, you know, MCU speculation, though. So still, super cool cover. Happy to find that. Next is another, this is a cool one. I've had this a couple times before. It's Invaders Annual, number 1. Now, this is from 1977, but it's an Alex Schoenberg cover, and I assume this was just reused artwork. I don't know if that's the case. You know, I know there's a ton of people out there way more knowledgeable than I am on this stuff. So maybe someone could chime in and let me know. I couldn't find any details when I was trying to look up Schoenberg cover art. This book is not one that's talked about. Super affordable. I mean, you can really probably find this thing in dollar bins. I just thought it was super cool. And I'm pretty sure I have another copy. But, you know, cool book there to find. Here's a minor key. This is cool. It's the UK, the pence pricing. It's Son of Satan, number 1. This is the first ongoing series, issue 1 of the first solo title for Damon Hellstrom. Gil Kane cover from 1975. I couldn't remember. This was up there during the pandemic, I think. This started going for a lot more, but this is probably a mid-grade copy. I think I paid like 10 bucks for that, which is probably too much. But anyways, it was cool. I usually kind of pick through stuff and the guy prices everything at the counter. And I usually try not to put too much stuff back because I pull so much out. So, and most of the deals are just so good that it's, you know, you win some, you lose some. Next, we've got a nice little run of some McFarland ASM. Not the highest grade. I had a few more, but I'm just kind of cherry picking my favorites. We've got 318. This is one of my favorite covers. Does not go for a lot. This is a newsstand copy. I always dug the Scorpion cover. I remember loving this issue as a kid. I always loved what McFarland did because he added the spike on the Scorpion tail. Scorpion never had that, and I don't know why. As a kid, I always thought that was awesome. I love the way McFarland drew Scorpion, and I just always remember this being one of my favorite issues, and I believe I copied the artwork from it many times over. Another great one is 323, just because of the Captain America cover. I don't know how many times I've seen McFarland do Cap, so I always love this one as well. With Spidey just on the back wall there. I just always thought it was awesome. And the newsstands go for a lot, but I always love the little artwork McFarland did on these books in the corner box there. And another newsstand copy. This one's usually pretty expensive when it's in high grade, but we've got 328, the classic Hulk Nut Punch cover here in newsstand. This is rough shape. A lot of spine ticks on this one, but these were, again, these were only a few bucks a piece. I don't even think they were a few. I think they were like $2 a pop, so worth picking up. Next, we got a little bit of, we got some Erik Larsen artwork here. So, Spidey was my #1 as a kid, and I remember just being amazed with McFarland's art. That's really what pulled me into the hobby. And then when he left and Erik Larsen took over, I was not a huge fan. I am still not a huge fan of Erik Larsen. I know that may be blasphemy to some people, but, you know, you like what you like. So, we've got 332 in a newsstand. Just a cool Venom cover that I know is popular. This gets listed on Key Collector as a key because it's the first time Venom is seen with like the long tongue and the drool coming out everywhere. I think we're stretching things for what's considered a key issue. I personally far prefer McFarland's subtle, regular teeth, no drool, no tongue. I don't know. I just far prefer that compared to the tongue all over the place. I know some people love that. Maybe I'm in the minority, but this is not a huge book, but it was a newsstand copy and it was cheap, so I grabbed it. I know a lot of people love the Venom covers from Larsen here. But next we get 345. Again, a newsstand copy. This was pricey, you know, before the second Venom movie came out. So this is like, I don't know, it's not even a cameo of Carnage. It's Cletus Cassidy gets infected by the symbiote, which is basically the symbiote breaking into the jail cell where Eddie and Cletus are, and a drop of it falling near Cletus's hand. So I know this got considered a cameo. I mean, again, I think things get a little stretched out in the modern collecting world, but still considered a key, I guess. And it's a newsstand, which I know people like to, certain people like to collect the newsstand, so I will pick them up. And now we've got those classic Larsen covers that everyone likes of Venom, number 346. Again, in a newsstand. I mean, it's a cool cover, but just for me, I far prefer McFarland. You know, especially that panel in 299 when you first see Venom and it's super creepy. He's just all black with the big eyes and he's just got the regular giant smile. I think, you know, I'm more of the subtle horror, subtle scare type of stuff, so. And 347 is usually pretty popular too, again in a newsstand, and I don't think these are all in pristine shape. You know, this is probably in the VF range. I think 346 is probably closer to mid-grade, but again, they were only a few dollars, so I couldn't leave them there. All right, next we got one that I always pick up. We got Spider-Man #1 from McFarland. I grabbed it because it's the newsstand copy. It's still polybagged. This thing goes for still a pretty penny. I mean, there's a ton of these out there. I find these newsstands quite a bit. I mean, but still, it usually goes for like 30 to 40 bucks in the poly bag with the newsstand. So again, I think I picked it up for, you know, $4, I think is what I paid. So worth grabbing. I don't know that the newsstand, I think, you know, I think that the green cover in a newsstand slabbed in a 9.8 is maybe like $100, $125 book right now, but I probably won't bother to slab that. All right, this was, you know, we got some keys here that were obviously nuclear during the pandemic. I can't remember why this one got hot, if there was speculation in the DCU, but we've got Doorway to Nightmare #1 from I think this is from 78. First appearance of Madame Xanadu. Super low grade, but again, I got a great deal on it. It was only like $5, I think, so not a huge book anymore. I think in high grade, obviously, still goes for a bit. Next, another one. I don't remember why this got hot. I think maybe it got something about the rights for an animated series, but it's Destroyer Duck #1 from Eclipse. This is Kirby and Neil Adams on the cover. It's the lawsuit edition. I can't remember the background, what the lawsuit with Marvel was for, but I know it got popular for a bit. It's from 1982. This is probably in the mid-grade range. It's the first appearance of Gru the Wanderer. I think there's like a couple-page mini-comic in the back, if I'm not mistaken, and first appearance of Destroyer Duck. So I think I've picked it up for like $8. Next, we have got a cool Art Germ one. Again, this is another one I remember probably a few years ago, maybe even pre-pandemic. This thing got really hot. It's Superman Batman Annual #4. The Art Germ cover. This is the first Batman Beyond. I guess it's in continuity. I think it's the first time he's not in the animated series comic line, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. Still a pretty expensive book, probably $30, $35, something like that. The second print, especially in a 9/8, still like a $500+ book. I looked up sales of that. So that's, I think it's got like red in the background, but I always love Art Germ. I don't think I've ever actually come across this. So I think this one was dirt cheap. I think I paid, no, $2.50 I picked it up for. It's probably in the VF near mid-range, so happy to find that. And next we have got a copy of Sonic the Hedgehog #1. This is in rough condition. This is probably VG fine. All right, this is not the first appearance or anything. I think the first appearance was like a Sega promo comic, and then there was a limited series. It started with issue #0, went through 3. So this is Archie Comics 1993, I believe. Am I wrong there? I think it's 1993. But I grabbed this because it's the newsstand copy. Even in low grade, people pay up for these newsstands. This is the first issue of the first ongoing series. So I think it was like $5, so I figured it was worth a shot. But again, rough shape. Probably VG fine condition. All right, now getting into some of the better books here. This is a super rough copy, but I couldn't leave it behind. I think I got the second appearance as well. But we've got Strange Tales 169, first appearance of Brother Voodoo. This is, I think this is Ramita on the cover here. Yeah, Ramita cover from 1973. This book continues to stay surprisingly hot. Again, a character I wasn't even familiar with as a kid. This spiked in recent years, and it is still a pretty pricey book. I saw, this is low grade. I mean, this is probably good, very good. It's got a ton of little chipping and tears and all that stuff. But, man, I think I see good copies still selling near $100, which surprised me. But nice pick up there. And I don't usually hunt for variants, but this guy had a whole box of variants he pulled out. And I don't know a lot about them, so I picked out a few that I knew. This one I grabbed just because it's a Red Hulk cover, and I know Red Hulk still there's some interest in. It's Age of Ultron, book #3. I think this is a 1 in 50 in Hyuk Lee. I looked at some recent sales. This is in good shape. This guy sells like the variant covers at like cover price, I think, when it's an incentive variant. So these were all cover price. This is in near mint condition. Last sale I saw was $85 on March 9th, but that was from like a top tier seller. So I don't know how accurate it is. Most people seem to be listing it in the $40 range. So there was only a few copies, but I thought it was a cool cover and worth grabbing. He had a whole box of variants, and I just didn't know enough about them. I looked at it. Most of them were kind of independent titles, but I thought it was a cool cover, so I grabbed it. I know I've had some of those other Age of Ultron variants in the past. Next is a book that, again, was hot for a while a few years ago. This is Secret Wars #2, First God Emperor Dune. This is the Assad Ribic, however you say it, variant. I first got turned on to him when the series came out. This is part of the reason I got back into comic book collecting. My son had picked me up issue #1 for my birthday back in 2015, well after it had started. And I, kept it and never read it. And one day I finally opened it up and was blown away by this guy's artwork. And then I went out to get the rest of the series, and then I started chasing back issues and finding them. And it brought me into all the local comic shops that I hadn't been to in many, many, many years, because I was just amazed with this guy's artwork. So very cool. I had never had the variant cover. I know this got hot. I can't remember what the spec was with God Emperor Dune. It was tied to the MCU. This thing probably 2022, I think, is when it got hot. Honestly, the cover A was selling for even more. I saw sales of like over $400 for that. But this is still a pretty valuable book. I think probably 25, 35 bucks raw condition. And I think 9/8 selling 200 plus still. I think I saw a sale for about 250. So he didn't have just one. He had 3 copies of this, and they are all super sharp. So I grabbed them all. I think he had a ton of the other Secret Wars variants, but I had a ton of those I got from Dollar Bins back in 2015. So many shops had just so many variants from this event that I didn't bother to pick up any of the other ones. I can't even remember, but he had all the issues. He had all the action figure variants, which I don't think were worth a ton, but great cover. I love this guy's artwork. I know he takes forever to do his work, but when he does work, I think it is absolutely gorgeous. So very cool books there. I will probably get those slabbed, I'm thinking. I could be wrong. They may be close to 150. I can't remember, but still beautiful books that I will probably get graded. Now, next is a book I had never seen, never heard of. I just saw the cover and was like, oh, that's a really cool cover. I bet people will pay for that. I bet that is a expensive book. And I looked it up when I got home and was blown away. This is definitely the find of the haul. So again, got this for cover price. This is a title I didn't even know existed. Amikami Girls, featuring Wonder Woman #1. If I'm saying that right, I probably am not. This is the Dustin Nguyen variant, I think. 1 in 25, 1 in 50, I am not sure. Last sale I found on a 9/8 was $1,000 on eBay. I can't remember how far back that was within the past couple of months. So I was blown away. I think someone's got a 9/4 listed at like $500 right now. So I was shocked. I assume this is just a low print run book, and it's an incentive, so there's not many copies out there. It is a super cool cover, but I was shocked to see the price points on these. So, man, I guess really know your variants, because some of them continue to be super expensive. So very cool cover. I will definitely be selling this. I love this artwork. I think it's great, but for that price point and what I found it for, I will be flipping that book. So very cool pickup there. All right, we're going to finish it off with a nice run of Silver Age Spidey. He was like pricing a collection he had just got in, and he let me kind of cherry pick through as he was going through them. So we will start with the highest and work our way down. We've got ASM number 70. This was a nice upgrade. This one will stay in my PC. So I think mine had a ton of surface indents. So this is the first cameo of Vanessa Fisk. This is a Ramita cover from 1969. Probably a mid-grade copy in the fine range. That's usually what I'm aiming for the books that I'm keeping in my PC if I'm not going to get them slabbed. So I like to keep the books raw with a few exceptions. So if I'm finding books in that fine, 6.5 range, that's kind of perfect for me, because then I don't feel bad opening them up and looking at them either. That's what I like, as long as they present nice. So really happy with this. And these were great deals. I mean, I think this worked out to less than 30 bucks. Awesome book there. Next is just an awesome Ramita cover. I've always loved this one. I've got a copy that's a little bit better condition that I'll be keeping. So this one I will probably flip. It is issue 62. Just an awesome cover with Medusa. I love these covers that Ramita did where you've got the full white background. I love the Craven cover. I can't remember what issue it is. It's the one where he's standing up. There's a one with Mysterio. This one, I just always loved it. And it's tough to find them in high grade because it's so much white. You get so much soiling. So when you find pristine copies, they're a thing of beauty. And this is just, I just love these covers with nothing else in the background. I don't know what it is. And I've always loved this one. So really cool pickup there. Next, we've got 61. Not as exciting of a cover to me, but it's the first cover appearance of Gwen Stacy. This is probably in the VG range. I mean, most of these ASM books were in pretty good shape, but this one's got a lot of soiling, but still, it was worth the pickup. A classic Ramita cover. This one's probably in a little bit better shape than the one I have, but mine has an awesome date stamp, so I'll be keeping it. It's issue 55 with this just iconic Ramita Doc Ock cover. So the one I have, which I'm sure I've shown off before or put it as a side book, has a date stamp right in the lens of the glasses, which I think is fantastic. Mine's got more tanning, but I just can't. The date stamp is what does it for me on that book. So it's just always a classic book, very expensive and high grade. This is probably mid-grade in the fine range. So I always grab this book when I find it. Find a cheap copy. It's definitely worth it. All right, next we've got another upgrade for my PC. This one is really sharp. A few of the books he had there, I probably should have picked up most of them because some of them were in pretty nice shape, like, you know, VF plus range. This is one of those. It's issue 53. Another Doc Ock cover, not as cool as 55, but like I said, I think I got this for $20 is what I paid for this one, and it's definitely, to me, at least a 7.75, probably higher. So really happy to upgrade mine. I think I already flipped my my older copy, so very nice there. All right, last few. Next we have got issue number 52. Again, this is another one that's probably somewhere, I think, in the VF range. I don't know exactly where. 52, the first appearance of Joe Robertson. Key Collector listed it as the third. I guess it is, should be the third Kingpin as well. It's just a super cool Ramita cover. This one's beautiful. The colors pop. Pretty expensive book. I don't remember what it goes for in higher grade, but again, got a great deal on it. This was probably, I think this was like $45 is what it worked out to. That one will be getting sent off to get slabbed and probably flipped. All right, next we have got a book I feel like I just showed off recently too. ASM 42. This is, I guess it's the first full appearance of Mary Jane. This is that classic panel with Mary Jane on the last page with the Face It Tiger. You just hit the jackpot. That's this book here. So pretty valuable book. I paid up for this one. So I think I paid like $90, and it's probably a 5.0, something like that. Presents pretty nice, but it's got a lot of chipping and color loss on the top edge. So it's probably worth a little bit more than that. I don't think I'll get this slabbed. I don't think it's high enough grade to make it worth it, but still very cool pickup there. All right, down to the last two. We have got a nice copy of 38, also I think in the VF range. This one presents really nice, really clean, not a lot of yellowing in the white areas there, a few color breaks. This is the final Steve Ditko issue, and this is the second cameo appearance of Mary Jane, where you don't see her face. Yeah, you can see a little bit of a color break on Spidey's leg. Small crease there. So I don't know what it'll get. It's definitely high enough grade. I think it's worth sending off, especially for the price I paid. I mean, I kind of base it on how much I already have into a book. And sometimes they get torn. Like this one presents so nice that I was like, geez, do I want to slab it and sell it, or do I want to keep it? But I think I'll probably get it graded to see what it comes back at. Final book. This was the best ASM book that he had out there, and I thought this presented really well. I'm not sure the grade, but it looks beautiful. It is just a classic Ditko cover. Again, I know I showed this off recently too. I had another copy in a trip this year, but this is ASM number 33. Just that iconic Ditko cover. Really nice copy. I paid about $105 for this. I put it down as in the VF range, but I'm not really sure. Spine is really clean on this. I mean, do it this way. Really, really sharp spine. Okay, but the problem is, if you can see it there, I don't know if the glare's in the way. There's some tears here. I can't do it without the glare. Yeah, you can see it right there, And those are like, they don't even go all the way through, but there's like 3 of them. So really odd. I've never seen that. Otherwise, it presents beautifully. So I don't know. I think it's definitely worth sending off. I'm going to get it slabbed and see what it comes back at, because I am not sure how that's going to affect it. So I'm hoping it'll be like a 7. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, that is it for the haul, guys. Again, if you're a fan of these types of videos, please hit me up, hit subscribe, leave me some comments below. Let me know what you think. See y'all soon.